So who else can relate? You get all done with Thanksgiving, you're putting away the leftovers, and you think, what in the world am I going to do with all this turkey? Well, I have a solution for you. And I'll tell you that the years that we don't have leftover turkey, my kids actually complain that we didn't have leftovers to make this with. Welcome back to Salt Creek Living. I'm Terry, and here we're all about learning how to be more self-reliant, learning how to stretch your groceries, the items in your pantry, your leftovers, that kind of thing, and make it taste good and not feel like you're just eating leftovers. This is one of our favorite recipes. It is a turkey pot pie, chicken pot pie, any kind of meat. And the great thing about it is how versatile it is. You can use leftover rotisserie, leftover turkey. You can use frozen veggies, canned veggies, whether it is home or commercially canned. You could even use gravy mix. You could make a roux using broth and make your own cream of soup. We use cream of potato in this, and so you'll see me using that today, but you could easily make your own. I've done it in years where I don't have this, or we had dietary restrictions where I had to make my own. And we always keep this on hand, canned chicken. We've even had some that we had canned ourselves, but I don't have any examples to show you. They were bottled like this. We used them all. They were great. But so this is super versatile. Use what you have, but practice your skills so that with a few ingredients, you can do this. Now, tonight we're gonna do it with a twist. Usually we do it with pie crust, but since we just did a video where I showed you guys pie crust, I'm gonna do this with biscuits on the top of it. So we're going to have the pot pie filling. We went and got this. It's a pack of 3 that we got from the Dollar Tree. Is that which one we got it from?
Yeah, the $1.75 store.
But the store is the Dollar Tree. It's 3 of them. But anyway, we wanted to do these rather than using a pie plate, so they were more of a smaller family size. I'm gonna mix up the veggies and the filling first because I'm gonna get that in the oven warming. The key to not having soggy biscuits, I've learned the hard way, is to have your filling warm first. So we're gonna get this going and get it in the oven. And we may have to add some additional stuff depending on how much we end up with for these containers. But I'm going to start with this package, this frozen vegetable package. It's mixed vegetables. It has carrot, corn, green beans, and peas. So you'll see that I have the equivalents in canned because guess what? We use either or, both, whatever. Now this is a 12-ounce bag. I think the recipe we usually follow calls for 16, so we may add the second bag that we have in the freezer depending on how things are looking. You can use any mixed vegetables that you want for your pot pie. At our house, we don't like lima beans, so we don't do the standard mixed veggies, although you 100% could. We normally add a can of sliced potatoes to beef up the flavor of the cream of potato soup. You can use cream of mushroom, you can use cream of chicken, you can make your own. Like I said, I've done that in the past. You could probably even use like a cream of onion or any kind of that type of thing, or make your own using gravy. You just want to have something that gives it some stick to itness, that brothiness. And we do drain these. Now you could do diced potatoes. It really is extremely forgiving and versatile. Just gonna mix the veggies up a little bit. You don't have to, but I wanted to get a feeling of how we were looking on amount. Cream of potato. Now on this, the recipe does call for adding milk. We've done it with water if need be. Just depends on what you have. I know I keep saying it, but it's so forgiving.
And this recipe is a double recipe because it's for one pie, and that's why it's 16 ounces.
Okay. So we normally do a second, right?
Yeah, because it's one, yeah.
We used to not be able to keep milk in our house, and now we're buying the half gallon and hope that we use it before it goes bad. Okay, so it's just looking kind of nondescript. But then, like I said, whether it is canned, leftover, super easy, super versatile.
Now, if you use canned chicken, we do about 2 cans of those 12-ounce cans.
2 of these.
Yeah. Any canned vegetables you would drain, obviously.
I think we're gonna add a little more. And you could add like garlic salt, seasoning salt, any number of things that you can add. We could even add some of our onion powder for some flavor. You want me to do that?
Yeah, why don't we try that this time?
I think it needs some salt too, but
Yeah.
How much onion powder would you say? I wish you guys could smell this. This is the onion powder that we made. If you haven't seen that video, it's from our walking onions, our Egyptian walking onions. So good. Garlic salt or...
Just like Celtic salt or something.
I was just thinking flavor-wise. But so this is about what the filling looks like. Could it be any easier? And like I said, your choice of veggies, your choice of everything. It is completely customizable. Now, another thing I've learned the hard way, I always put a cookie sheet underneath my pans because, well, it's no fun to clean that mess up. So really, if I go side by side, then we're gonna boil over. So really it needs to be 3 on here. Well, we have 3 more pans, so we can do 3 more if, depending on how this ends up working out. So I'm gonna move this over to here. Now even our picky kids love this. When it comes to the biscuits, I'm counting on there being about 4 biscuits on the top. Okay, so that's what we have left after doing 3 of them. And I feel like I'm having the same problem I had when we were first married. I grew up in a large family. John grew up in a large family. And when we were first married, neither one of us could cook for the 2 of us. If we made soup, it was a stock pot of soup. We could not figure out how to size portion for a small family. Now, I feel like we're doing the same thing all over again.
Well, the kids went from little kids hardly eating anything to
Teenagers that ate us out of house and home.
now we're down to a couple of kids that don't eat much.
Never know who's gonna be here either. We made that amount, do 4 of these. I'm gonna get these in the oven so that they can start heating through. And then I'm gonna get going on the biscuits. Now, biscuits is another thing that I have been working on so that I could get them. And so that's what we're gonna top these with. Now, I currently have the oven set at 350, just on, the default that it comes on. Do you think I should turn it up, John? 425.
So turn it up to that.
I'm gonna clean up this mess a little bit. So now that we have the pot pie filling in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and make the biscuits. Now, I would bet that you could probably make an extra, but honestly, if we make 2 full pot pies, everyone eats on them and they're gone. We don't ever have extras to freeze. I would bet too that you could freeze these biscuits and then bake them afterwards, like when you thaw them out.
Just bake them frozen like the
Yeah.
Pillsbury ones.
Yeah, but that would take some experimentation. I haven't done that yet. The other thing is that I am making a couple of variations on this recipe. The recipe calls for flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, buttermilk, and honey. The last time I made these, I had some frozen buttermilk in the freezer, but not enough for what it called for, and I didn't want to thaw it out, and I forgot that we had some of the powdered. We keep this on hand, and I forgot about it. We also didn't add the honey that it called for because we were doing a whipped honey topping on it. So I'm following what I did before, which I just did water instead of buttermilk and omitted the honey. This recipe again is in the food processor, which is my cheat. Makes it easy to do. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour into the food processor. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And this is a recipe I found online. She said that she had adjusted the recipe from how she first had it to have baking soda and baking powder so you didn't get that chemical taste. A 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and just like we did with the pie crust, we're going to mix those dry ingredients by pulsing. And then we're going to add in the butter, unsalted. This is a half a cup. I've cut it into smaller pieces. I kept it in the fridge while I was doing the other stuff so it stays nice and cold.
Cold butter is the secret for wood biscuits, is what we've learned.
Now, there are recipes where you could use tallow, you could use lard, you could use Crisco, you could use butter. Check the size of the stuff, just like we did with the pie crust. I'm gonna go just a little bit more. Now, if you overwork it, it won't rise as much. It'll be a little bit tougher. Like I said with the pie crust, still tastes really good, and practice makes perfect, and you get to eat the failures. Now, she calls for 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of cold buttermilk. Because I live in the high desert, all of these recipes, I have to do the full 2 tablespoons additional. So this is 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of cold water that I kept in the fridge. Came from our filtered fridge water, and then I kept it in the fridge after measuring it out. Now you can see how that is coming together and cleaning the sides. So we're gonna add some flour to my rolling mat. Now this is still a wet dough at this point. Now watch today, because I didn't stop at the 1 cup. It'll be
Too much water.
That'd be my luck, right?
Just add more flour.
Yeah, exactly. Just gonna work a little bit of flour in just to take some of the stickiness off. You can see the butter chunks that are in it. You see those?
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna make it light and flaky. Now I'm gonna do something that I finally learned how to do, and that's called laminating your dough. So we're gonna roll this out, then we're going to cut it and stack it on top. Roll it out, cut it, stack it. And I think she says to do that 3 times. Yeah, she says you can make ahead and freeze it. So she says flatten to 3/4 of an inch thick rectangle as best as you can. Fold one side to the center, then the other side on top. So she does it into thirds. Turn the dough 90 degrees, roll it again to 3/4 inch, or flatten with your hands. Repeat the folding, turn it horizontal one more time, and do the folding one more time. So I'm gonna put some extra flour up there so that as I need it, I have it. Now you can either cut it or you can just fold it like that. You're gonna turn it, flatten it back out again. Now this is what, look at that chunk of butter. It worked its way out of the dough. This is what gives your biscuits those layers as it rises. The other thing that I figured out that I was doing wrong was that I was not putting them close enough together. You want them to touch so that then they have that structure that they basically force each other to climb, to rise as they bake. Now, since I figured out how to do biscuits, there's been several meals where John gets something in the oven and he's like, man, wish we had bread or biscuits or whatever. And I can whip up a batch of biscuits in the amount of time it takes for dinner to cook, which made a light bulb go off for both of us. That's why they used to use biscuits in the old days. Sopped up the gravy, helped fill up your belly, but they don't take any rise time, any rest time, anything like that. It's just whip it together and away you go. I am going to use my rolling pin just so that I can get it more evenly rolled. I have the 3/8 inch dial on this. I don't have biscuit cutters at this point. Like, I did this recipe with the pot pie and I did it in like a bakery muffin tin. And I found that a wide mouth jar ring perfectly fits the size of those muffins. not muffins, but the muffin tin. Because of the ones that we're using, I'm going to use a regular mouth. One of the things that you want to do to make sure it rises properly is take your cutter straight down, whether it's a glass, a biscuit cutter, whatever. You don't want to put it in and twist because that actually seals the edges so that it won't rise properly as it's baking. Okay, so I ran downstairs to the pantry, the food storage room, and I grabbed both a regular and a wide mouth. So you can see the size difference. We're gonna do a regular mouth this time. The great thing about this dough, you cut out what you have and then you reshape it and cut out more. So I was just gonna say is it's basically dumplings. Okay, so now we're gonna take this and Play-Doh it. And I just peeked in the oven and it's bubbly and ready for these. I'm gonna come over here and look. I think what I'm going to do is just pull this out like that. Now we used to do chili bake that we would put cornbread batter over the top. And I never could figure out why it was always soggy on the bottom. So like I said, learned this one kind of the hard way, and trial and error. Now having it open like that, it stopped boiling 18 to 20 minutes or until tops are golden brown. Yeah, we did it in a 10-inch cast iron last time with 7 with the wide mouth. Yum, so good. You can do these on a baking sheet. Make sure the biscuits are touching. She tells you to brush the tops with the remaining buttermilk. She tops with butter and honey with a pastry brush. We're doing more of a savory, so I didn't want that sweet. She says you can bake them ahead and freeze them, thaw at room temperature, and then warm them to your liking. Or she says you can freeze the dough. It looks like she freezes the dough before she shapes it and does all of that. She says you can also try, this is Sally's Baking Addiction is the page I got it off of. But she says you can do cheddar biscuits, zucchini biscuits, everything bagel biscuits, like sky's the limit on this. And I would imagine that you could probably, we were talking about this the other day, you know, like if you get the cheddar biscuit, lobster's cheddar biscuit mix or any of that kind of thing. Basically, they're just pre-measuring all of this stuff and then you're adding the water in and the butter and shaping it as like dumplings, essentially, not rolling it out like dough, but it's in essence the same amount of work as just whipping these up. I'm gonna go sit down for a few while this bakes and we'll bring you back when it's all done. It is out of the oven and I wanna show you, for as watery as it looked going in, and it's super thick and creamy. My house smells, the only way I can describe it, it smells like a hug. Like it just smells like comfort right now. It smells so good. I want to reiterate how versatile this recipe is, that you can use fresh, you can use frozen, you can use canned, you can substitute any number of things in it like we went over. You can make a little bit of meat, stretch a lot further. Prepping is all about balance, all about ease. Boxed brownies for dessert. You don't have to make everything from scratch. But let me know if you try this. We're gonna go enjoy it now and we'll catch you next time.